Little things like the chimneys are not being used right now. They've been bricked over, but they still, because they're not part of the body of the building, have a tendency to fall apart quicker, and they let water inside. So we're gonna take the chimneys down to the roof level, cap it off, seal it, end of story. There is a lot of damage that has occurred to the masonry, mainly in the upper section. All of that is gonna be repaired. The bulges in the masonry where the bricks have shifted out of plane and some of the stone has shifted out of plane, all that's gonna be repaired, put back, and then all the mortar from the water table up, the upper 4 or 5 feet, is gonna be removed and replaced. A lot of it is degraded enough to where it's letting water in. It's no longer tightly bonded to the brick. So we want to replace that and get it back into a good, serviceable, tight condition. First couple, 3 pages kind of go into detail on what we see and what we like to do from a repair standpoint. At one point in time, Mayor and I talked about, and Scrappy was involved in the conversations about your windows and doors. At this particular point, they're not in that, let's say, bad a condition where it warrants attention at this time. What it does need is the perimeter of the windows, the sealant material or the caulking has reached its full life expectancy. That's going to be removed and replaced, so that the movement, any movement that occurs, the new sealant will compensate for it and keep that watertight and flexible. Minor thing, you have what I consider to be an outstanding landscaping pattern as far as brick pavers, knee walls, etc. That will take just a minor amount of work to keep it in as good a condition as possible. A little tuck pointing here and there, a little bit of brick resetting here and there. We also want to pay particular attention to what we call water management. That is, how and where does the water go when it lands on the roof or when it lands on the property just adjacent to the base of your building. We want to make sure that it's carried away from the building properly so that the basement areas or the lower levels of the buildings don't have that constant saturation of water and allowing it to get inside to the building. So we want to make sure that we evacuate all the water away from the building. A minor thing, but pretty significant, especially when you look at some of the walls downstairs where they're getting a lot of water in and the plaster is deteriorating, the paint is deteriorating, and EPA typically has a problem when they see free line getting into the atmosphere. We can cure that, but you have to, I mean, when I say cure, we can repair the walls inside, but we want to also take care of what's causing the problem, and that's the water management. Little incidental things, the vents that used to, years and years and years ago, allow the transmission of vapor, allow the pluses and minuses as far as positive and negative air flow through the building, have been sealed shut. We're going to take those vents off and brick them in. They're no longer needed because you have the HVAC system in place that controls the airflow. So we'll just close that up. It's no longer going to be a source of water to the inside. We went ahead and took care of the light sconces, which we just brought back. They're fully restored. They went on the outside entrance. Those probably will be put back into place next week, the week after at the latest. So that was a nice thing that we were able to get accomplished right away. The fire escape, that has enough paint on it now where it's suitably hiding a lot of the rust that's occurring. We want to take that paint off, take the rust off, repair the metal as needed, and then recoat the fire escape, probably with the urethane or some suitable metal paint. But we want to make sure that from an integrity standpoint, the metal is in good shape, that when the fire escape is utilized, that nobody has to be concerned about, is this step good, is that step good, or is the whole structure good? So we'll take care of that as well. On page page 8, we have a nice picture of Scrappy utilizing an extension ladder going up to the roof. That's a cumbersome project whenever Scrappy has to get up and tend to whatever he needs to tend to. We'd like to put a vertical ladder on the side of the wall. Number one, it is safer. Number two, Scrappy's not 20 anymore, so it takes a little bit of effort to put the ladder up, and we're looking at it from a safety standpoint. It's not 70 degrees and sunny every time he has to put the ladder up. It's icy sometimes, it's a problem. So we want to put a vertical ladder up, just something small, but again, it's a service-orientated type approach. We want to make this as smooth and easy and functional as we possibly can. Now we get to some of the more nitty-gritty on page 9. The boiler in the basement room, no longer utilized, has our favorite product that's wrapping the pipes. We want to take that out of the building. We'll terminate it to the furthest extent we can without being ridiculous, so that there is no more exposed. Anything that is capped at the end will be encapsulated, not a problem. We're taking the pipes, asbestos, boiler, plenum, flute, everything out. And the nice thing is we've got that louver that we can take out and just shut it all out the door. So we'll get that totally out of here and give probably what, 600 to 700 square feet of additional space now all of a sudden becomes usable. The other thing that we want to do, that's proximate to the IT room, and from a conditioning standpoint, it's difficult when you have that still set up in the room to control the humidity and the temperature in the IT room. And the computers and communication systems, et cetera, probably need to have a little bit more control to run at their peak efficiency. Having taken all of that stuff out and repurposing that room will allow that to be better controlled. Again, as I mentioned earlier, all the tile floor, even what's underneath the carpeting, underneath the benches, et cetera, needs to come out. That will be removed. We'll have a program set up where the contractors come in at off hours. They'll do all the proper EPA, follow all the rules and regulations on how to get it out of here safely. That will be done. The adhesive that's left afterwards, there's a product that you apply that totally locks that into place.